So when we talk about transparency, it is about the government should be accessible to people, and whatever the decisions it takes, it should try to disclose as much information as possible. And it should put information in public domain. This, which we say generally it means inside out government. Traditionally, let's say when we did not have RTI, or even let's say when we have RTI, still government has various means, let's say. It discloses information and it maintains transparency. Like let's say it has publications, it has reports, it has to take like say we have PIB websites, now portals, this like even we have Ministry of Information and Broadcast Publication Division. You know that there is called so government itself promotes when it has various types of reports, recommendations, annual reports. Like say we told yesterday about the studies conducted by Rural Development Institute. Now it is in public domain. That institute, and it is in public domain, so we know about the positive aspect, the negative aspect. It is a criticism to the government also, it is appreciation to the government also. So similarly, there can be several such mechanisms through which government brings, like say even if you take, let's say, budget. The budget is a document, it is open, there is nothing secret in budget. This, when you read, so you know there is nothing secret. Bills, so there are nothing secret. Even that, let's say that bills when it is bringing, or let's say that when you have economic survey, so again there is nothing secret. So we don't have to see transparency only in terms of RTI. This you have to understand. Although RTI is the most potent tool for promotion of transparency. But if you see RTI, transparency only through RTI, so you will have a narrow view. It is, as we say that, it is like fighting human rights only through Human Rights Commission, which you can never fight. Because one institution cannot become, let's say that, effective when you have hundreds of institutions and people breaking human rights, destroying human rights. This you can fight. So this way we have to understand. So governments, they promoted transparency. It's not that there was no transparency, but they were more characterized by, they are more known for maintaining secrecy, confidentiality, because vital informations are not disclosed. Anything that is vital, anything that is important, that information is not disclosed. The challenge is there when the information which is more important should be disclosed. Less important information you disclose. Like, so, like say COVID related data. It has nothing to do with national security. WHO is releasing that COVID related data of India. A foreign institution is releasing, and you also say to that, don't release it. Government told to WHO not to release that data. According to WHO data, the huge number of people died in India. It is 43 around lakh or 40 lakh plus. This according to WHO data. But according to our data, I do not know exact, but it is around 7-8 lakh. So, but government said that no, you do not release this data. Although WHO went on releasing that data. This similarly, poverty-related data. Poverty-related data since 2012 has not been released. This, or if it has been at all, so it is partial. Its legitimacy. You do not know exact number of poor people. When we'll teach, when the time will come for poverty alleviation. So, poverty-related data we have not released. Similarly, unemployment-related data we have not released. So, this way we will find that the governments are releasing data. It's not that they are not releasing. They put so many things in public domain. But at the same time, the things which matter most, right, there we do not have. And for that, you need a legal right in the hand of the citizen to question the government. Means something the way we told you about fundamental rights. Fundamental rights means there should be some rights in the hand of the citizens, even that cannot be taken by the state. This, so something should be in the hand of the citizens which even state cannot take away. That was fundamental right. Similarly, let's say that this something should be in the hand of the citizens so that they can seek, they can force the government to release that information. And that is how we can say about RTI. And that is what, let's say that RTI has brought. Yesterday we told you rational sectors. Now we'll talk about this RTI Act. So let's write further on this. Although transparency has broad connotation, vis-a-vis RTI, but the latter has become the most potent tool for transparency. The latter has become the most potent tool for transparency. The governments promote transparency through various mechanisms, as mentioned above. However, the general trend is vital information is not disclosed. The general trend is vital information is not disclosed. It is in this regard, RTI Act assumes special significance. It is in this regard, RTI Act assumes special significance. As people can force government to release public information, public information. Let's RTI Act 2005. RTI Act 2005. It has following important provisions. First, it gives legal right to every citizen. To seek public information from public agencies. Next, it defines what is information. And process of disclosure of information. It defines what is information and process of disclosure of information. Disclosure of information. Disclosure of information. Okay, next. Information should be disclosed within 30 days of application. Information should be disclosed within 30 days of information. On failing to do so, there can be penalty, maximum up to 25,000. Maximum up to 25,000. It defines what is public authority under Section 2H. Section 2H. Next. It has provisions for institutional process for grievance redressal. Through information commissions. Next, under Section 4. It is expected that the government should have proactive disclosure of information. The government should have proactive disclosure of information. Disclosure of information. Next, under Section 22. RTI has been given overriding powers on Official Secret Act. Next, under Section 8. The scope of RTI has been restricted that it would not be applicable to first, cabinet decisions for 20 years. Next, foreign friendly relation, commercial contract, information related to security, public morality, information which may affect security, public morality. Some public institutions are not under purview of RTI. Some public institutions are not under RTI purview. All paramilitary forces and intelligence agencies. Significance of RTI Act 2005. Significance of RTI Act 2005. So if you talk about significance, so this is how we say this. Basically, it overrides Official Secret Act, which is a very big thing. It's when there is a conflict between RTI and Official Secret Act, which is the basis to maintain secrecy. So therefore, let's say it will be given overriding powers. And if you take this, I will RTI you, it has become, let's say, this is how CIC report says, RTI has become like a verb. I will RTI you. This the RTI is being used, or I will RTI you is being used as a threat. Threat means coercion. So far administration, अभी भी administration ऐसा होता है. देखिए ना अब क्या कहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है. No, so once again unpredictable things are happening, which I keep saying that कि कब कहाँ पे protest हो जाएगा और ज्वालामुखी erupt हो जाएगा पता नहीं है. और अभी वो मणिपुर में चल रहा है. दिल्ली वाला थोड़ा डॉर्मेंट है, isn't it? इसलिए कि इन्होंने सिविलाइज तरीका फॉलो किया, प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे जंतर मंतर पर. Anyhow, so you can see that certain part of the country, right, at certain point of time is always under boiling, let's say that, and eruption, you can say that. So citizens, let's say, still administration teach them like, administration, its brutality, it can beat you like anything. When wrestlers can be beaten, so बाकी लोग तो मैं तो बहुत सोचता रहा हूँ कि अब सोचता हूँ अपने आप को बचा के रखो. Isn't it? This, so this way इसलिए कि right, मीडिया वाले को नहीं जा रहे हैं, रात को मार पिटाई कर रहे हैं. Their demands cannot be so, let's say that fake, I guess, because they are wrestlers. I don't think that they can be so politically manipulated. This, or they cannot become political activists. They are the medal holders at international level. But we don't know that why still there is so much of reluctance on the side of administration not to act. Yes. And these things forces people. जब कोर्ट भी नहीं सुन रहा है, गवर्नमेंट भी नहीं सुन रहा है ना, it takes you towards violence. अब आप पंजाब और हरियाणा में तैयार रहिए, राइट. सो कुछ दिनों तक अच्छा चल रहा था पंजाब हरियाणा, अच्छे स्टेट हो गए थे, धीरे धीरे पीसफुल हो गए थे. Now they are turning out to become a boiling point. This, anyhow, let's take this. So Subhash Agrawal talks, let's say, he is the RTI activist basically, and he has credit to have the highest number of RTI application, which is, we generally say, 90,000 plus. This, so he's RTI activist, and he said that RTI has liberated people for the second time. Means first time it was independence. So that way, because you know that administration, bureaucracy, and we remember once there was government decision that it will give non-IPS officers in paramilitary forces promotion, let's say, same equivalent status to IPS officers. Once it was in debate, so one officer from paramilitary force who was not IPS, he wrote a post on social media. We feel like that we have got real independence first time. That was his statement. Because bureaucracy control many a time is nothing but subjugation of colonial rule. This, and which bureaucracy will not accept this. Because IG level officers dominate in paramilitary force. They don't have any experience. You should know that. They don't have paramilitary experience. But as yesterday we were talking, the days are not far away when IAS will become army general. Right. So that is how it is. So once this is how it happens. So liberation, if you say, imagine if force personnel is writing that key, we feel liberated, right? So what about citizen? This. So that is what, let's say that RTI gives this legal right. And ARC second has also told that because of that factor, overriding powers, it is marking the era of light and it is ending the era of darkness. That is secrecy culture, and it is also saying it is the most important legislation after independence. These all statements can be used as either you use introduction, you use conclusion, you use in your essay, wherever you can use it. These are the important punchlines for this significance. Right. Let's write further on this. It is also significant. It is also significant because of following factors. Following factors that first, it is an important tool. It is an important tool for promotion of good governance, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, and responsibility. Next, it is an external tool to exercise check. It is an external tool to exercise check on discretions which are misused, and they become basis for misuse of powers. Hence, it is also an anti-corruption tool. Next, it has potential to enhance probity in governance. By creating deterrence against corruption, inefficiency, passivity, that is, it can improve efficiency and effectiveness. Next, it makes democracy deliberative and participative. Next, it brings changes in concept of accountability. That RTI makes every citizen CAG. RTI makes every citizen a potential CAG. This. Hence, it shifts accountability towards citizen, which generally is towards top. It is towards top it is towards top. That is a civil servant. A civil servant is accountable to higher authorities. A civil servant is accountable to higher authorities. Higher authorities in traditional sense. But RTI also shifts accountability towards citizen. RTI also shifts accountability towards citizens, known as sideward accountability, horizontal accountability, sideward accountability, horizontal accountability, or bottom-up accountability. Bottom-up accountability. Bottom-up accountability. Yes. So this is what we can say. Already here and there a bit we have told that. Try to understand which is more relevant basically in ethics paper, not public admin. Sorry, paper second. Basically, let's say a civil servant. If you take a civil servant or a public servant, you become civil servant or public servant. Your accountability is more towards top of the organization. This your higher authority, head of the organization, or your own external agencies. It can be CBI, it can be CAG, it can be Lokpal. They are all government institutions and they are our higher authorities. Your answerability go towards top. Your answerability is not towards people, bottom. Your answerability is more towards top of the organization, or top of the, let's say, the administration or government. So only largely higher ups will call your answerability. Yes. But citizens did not. Citizens के पास एक ही tool था, वो election. At best they can protest with and protest for lathi charge, isn't it? Anyhow, they can protest traditionally, they can go in public office, they can scrutinize, but उनके पास कोई legal authority नहीं था. This you have to understand. Now the day a citizen goes and applies RTI in any office, so whatever the functionary you have, his accountability shift towards citizen. Right? Because he has a legal right. Citizen has a legal right to seek information and you cannot deny if it is coming under the disclosable category. And if you deny it, so there is a penalty, 25,000 highest, or there is information commission. The citizen will move to information commission. And that information commission goes to High Court, even Supreme Court. Its grievance of citizen has been, let's say, that brought this way. So this will have its external check again. It will have external check on this. That will create a deterrence, because once you deny information, it is published in newspaper. Information has been denied. And it results into a kind of humiliation also. At least you will be known for not giving information. Your department will be known for not giving information. So that way, let's say you do not want to be known for wrong reasons. Right. At least your department should not be known for wrong reasons. Or if at all that RTI is applied and something is disclosed, corruption is disclosed, irregularities are disclosed, then you know that what will happen. So the officers of Chandigarh, those IAS officers who went to France and spent public money, so they will have now on their character that, let's say, that dark aspect. Right? So whenever their name is forwarded for elevation, right, you know the elevation authority, right? It will always have that in mind. And that even can become basis to deny your elevation. This, because if you are made chief secretary, तो फिर इंडियन एक्सप्रेस तो बैठा हुआ है, isn't it? वो फिर से पब्लिश करेंगे, देखो यही ऑफिसर था जो कि government has made an irresponsible civil servant as chief secretary. The government does not want to face that kind of embarrassment, right? So they will not make such kind of people, right? And that is how the challenge. It creates a kind of moral check, let's say that. It may not have immediate effect, it may not have any concrete consequence, like say those IAS officers, but it does have moral relevance or impact. This, and that is how it shifts, let's say. This is how change in the concept of accountability. Though traditional accountability is more answerability, is more inside, or it is towards top of the, let's say that your department. And plus it is also formal because both belong to the same. You are also IAS officer, CAG is also IAS officer. No, this is how. हो सकता है कि वो आपने उसके अंडर में ट्रेनिंग लिया हो, हो सकता है सब, कई बार सीनियर्स दे गो एंड एड्रेस, दिस इज हाउ कैन से दैट, or you may have worked under him, he may have been your senior, this is quite possibility. और जो सीबीआई डायरेक्टर है वो आईपीएस है और वो उसका कलीग जो है वो आईएएस है, उसके अगेंस्ट इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहा है, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. नो, because you belong to the same category. So that is how it is called supply side. Sorry. That's why independence is important. This is how we can say change in the concept of accountability. That is how the question asked into you were supposed to write. The question which was asked basically in not this paper but ethics paper. RTI has not empowered people, but also changed the concept of accountability. I was happy to see the concept term in question. Generally, let's say they do not use in GS, right? Because concept is something theoretical, basically, right? They use this and it demanded. So it demanded to write this way. Let's see how it has changed. RTI has not only empowered people but also has changed the concept of accountability. This, you know that it is exactly the same question asked in public administration in 2007. This same question asked. That's why some questions asked in public administration we try to read out, but try to avoid also overtone of public administration. That is also. Anyhow, and it was asked in 2000, I guess 17 basically. Right. Interestingly, we asked this question in our public administration. I had repeated this question. Right. Nupur Goyal, basically that I remember this question through her because we had a discussion when question was asked. This, so we had asked in public administration. Anyhow, but they asked in GS, that does not matter. What we are trying to say is some questions they do follow from all other. It can be history also, geography also, anything can be. Some questions can be in GS. It is not only related to this, but that does not matter because some people in GS are very good. We then ask in our test program and we used to run one WSDP program, writing skill development program. So it used to be, and so we asked this question. So at least 2-3 questions from GS who do not have public adoption, they were able to write better than those who had public adoption. Means there are some people in GS who do not have political science or public ed optional, but they write better than optional wala. One was Vinod Duhan. Yes, I guess, yes. So he got 74th rank. He got 493.94 in GS. That time Saumya Sharma. She had highest in GS, ninth ranker, 495 and 96. He had third highest, I guess, or second highest. But he did not get top rank because of his interview and geography optional marks. Right. He regretted कि अब फिर से मैं appear नहीं हो सकता, because he wanted to come in top. And I still remember he did used to come in class. We'll say he did as long as, let's say, by the time he did not qualify, he kept coming in the classes. All those classes he will come. It was free for him. Generally, after some time, we make it free relatively to some candidates who have been repeatedly appearing and they are in our contact. So we do not charge, sorry to say that. We charge very token amount as Guru Dakshana, you can say that. Like another is Raghavendra, it was his 6th attempt, so we did not charge also. And so there are some people like, so he used to write, he got 121 in polity paper second. And 14th ranker this year, Anubhav, क्या नाम है? Anubhav Jain, Abhinav Jain. उसका भाई है वो Abhishek Jain. So Abhishek Jain, he got this year 122, I think, in paper second. His sociology optional. This. So his brother, basically, his IRS. So they used to together, let's say, that he study. They are twin, basically. So Abhinav got this time, you know, that after a long gap, 2-3 years or 4 years of gap, Abhishek qualified in the first attempt itself. He was his personality is better than Abhinav. And we expected him a good rank because it was first attempt interview, such a long and tall person and बहुत ही अच्छा personality है, but interview में marks नहीं दिया उन्होंने. Right. He got highest in public administration. He had public ed option. So there are, let's say, that people they have a class basically. This in writing answers. Anyhow, they don't write information. जो आजकल का जो trend है ना, writing, their answers will be quite distinguishable from the present answers. Today era has become just to write information. People are writing nothing but a set of information. This in answer, without any perspective and content. There is a difference between content and information. Then, anyhow, और नकल करना, सॉरी टू से दैट, कि मतलब 90% क्राउड जो है वो बहुत ही ब्लाइंड नकलची है. इट डज नॉट हैव ट्रस्ट इन इट, लेट्स से दे डोंट हैव ट्रस्ट इन देमसेल्फ. वो नकलची बन गए हैं और वो दूसरे का नकल करते हैं. अपना नहीं देखते हैं कि हमारा क्या आइडेंटिटी है, हमारा क्या स्ट्रेंथ है, हमारा क्या कोई यूनिक हो सकता है, यूनिकनेस इन दिस. दे डोंट सी दैट. दे स्टार्ट रिजेंबलिंग अदर्स. This, and it is brute force. Brute force is that कि ठीक है 10,000 लोग हैं तो कुछ लोग तो क्वालिफाई करेंगे. यूपीएससी के पास भी तो ऑप्शन नहीं है. It will make them some people qualify. But it is not that, let's say, that informative. Rather it is more content based answer that you should write. We have seen some people even going to that way. We had one girl student. She is already qualified, not in good rank, but already qualified. She used to write better, passed. Then this train which has come, information. She also started writing only information type answer. This, so there has been decline, let's say that, कि people पहले कोई आंसर को देख के इतना नकल नहीं करता था. आजकल तो टॉपर्स का देख के एग्जैक्टली लोग कॉपी करना शुरू करते हैं. मार्केट में हमने सुना है जो ट्रेन जाएगी, टॉपर्स का कॉपी ले लिया और वो जैसे जैसे लिखा है, एज राइट इंफॉर्मेशन विल ब्रिंग राइट नॉलेज. Right information will bring right knowledge. Right knowledge, which is very essential in the era of fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Hence, the government should encourage effective implementation of RTI as a tool for promotion of minimum government, maximum governance. Minimum government, maximum governance. Generally, let's say when we deal such topics, we try to generally write a bit way forward and conclude it. Then we try to take sectoral topics. Because when you also write your answers, you cannot deal sectoral topics because questions are not related to sectoral topic. That question is just related to a particular aspect. This. So otherwise, suppose we start dealing those topics, you may also get carried away by writing those things elaborately. That is how our purpose, our approach. And when we write towards end, so we try to relate. That is how it is not merely information. It does not become merely information. Right? When you try to relate it, it is strengthened satyameva jate, it is about truth. It is about, let's say that, democratic governance. It is about minimum government, maximum governance. It gives a perspective rather than merely a set of information. What people do is that they will write those points that we have written. Way forward, 4 point लिख दिया, that's all. ये होना चाहिए. और जिसको facts नहीं आता है वो सिर्फ statement लिखता है. RTI should be amended, a new law should be brought, PIO should be empowered, government should focus on effective implementation. ऐसे सारे generic statements होता है. Anyhow, let's write one by one. We'll take sectoral issues. So first we'll take Information Commission, right? Information Commission related. Let's try this. Under RTI Act, there are provisions related to constitution of. There are provisions related to constitution of information commissions. Information commissions, like Central Information Commission at union level, and State Information Commission at state level. The law provides the law provides following details. First, composition, 10 plus 1 members, including chairperson. Qualification. Experiences related to public affairs, administration, management, law, civil society, etc. Next, appointment is done by president. And also the removal. For Central Information Commission and Governor appoints and works as removal authority for State Information Commission. Next, tenure. 5 years or 65 years of age. 5 years or 65 years of age. Grounds of removal mentioned. Next, there is also selection committee. Selection committee consisting of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and a Union Cabinet Minister appointed by Prime Minister. Next, power and functions. It has power of civil court. Its decisions are binding on government and parties, subject to appeal in high courts, then Supreme Court. The commissions deal with grievances related to information, especially non-disclosure of information. It has power to enforce. It has power to impose fine on public agencies and public servants. Enforce fine on public agencies, public servants. It's independence. Okay. As per RTI Act 2005, since there were provisions which fulfill the conditions needed for independence, the commissions enjoyed independence, independence. However, there is change in scenario after 2019 amendment of RTI Act. Working of commissions. By and large, in their first phase, from 2006 to 2019, largely they worked with satisfaction, although there were problems. But CIC was able to create perceptible impact through its activist role in terms of first proactive role in enforcement of RTI, issuing orders for bringing political parties under RTI purview, and also Supreme Court. However, they were criticized for first, largely retired bureaucrats were appointed as information commissioners. Next, they never functioned to their full strength. Next, they remained reluctant in imposing penalties on on public agencies not disclosing information. So basically, you'll find that they played a bit role, like a Central Information Commission. It played a bit role It brought annual reports, blah blah thing. It created also perceptible impact when it has imposed fine and when it issued order for political parties to come under RTI. It issued order for Supreme Court to come under RTI. So they had active role, let's say. That is how, let's say, code 5C. In 5C, 1C becomes Central Information Commission. So they do have, let's say, they try to go for holding conferences, campaign, creating awareness, bringing annual reports. The things were going fine, basically. Although there were criticisms, especially at a state level or central level, they were never to the full strength. The full strength, you can say that basically it is called that 10 plus 1. Plus, if you see the qualifications, qualification does not mention that only retired civil servants should be there. Experience in public affairs, law, management, administration, civil society, these are the things mentioned. But largely retired bureaucrats, especially at a state level, they have been appointed as Information Commissioner and Chief Information Commissioner. That you will find. Like today, someone is retiring as Chief Secretary and tomorrow he is a Chief Information Commissioner. Yes. So till today, he has been more about maintaining secrecy. He is loyal to the government. And tomorrow he is going to work as instrument of transparency. Yes. So that kind of, let's say, that things have been found. And they have not been able to penalize, let's say that, penalize nitty-gritty details. If you go and see that, generally it happens that the Information Commission, so it will issue a direction. Suppose any public servant or public agency, it is not disclosing information. So they will just issue a direction, please give information. This पता ही है कि इतना soft approach तो चलता नहीं है. Public agency will not disclose information. अब जो RTI एक्टिविस्ट है वो फ्रस्ट्रेट हो रहा है. जब फ्रस्ट्रेशन बढ़ जाता है तो अगेन ही गोज टू, उन्होंने इंफॉर्मेशन दिया नहीं, अगेन इट विल इशू, प्लीज गिव इंफॉर्मेशन. मान लो दे दिया, नहीं इंफॉर्मेशन मिला, अगेन लेट्स से ही विल फील फ्रस्ट्रेट, अगेन ही गोज टू CIC, देन ही विल पेनलाइज. Then CIC is penalized. The first instance they do not penalize. Second instance they do not penalize. They will take their time and it may take 1 and 2 years. You know that कि जो IAS ऑफिसर का इंफॉर्मेशन जो आया था वो 2015 में RTI अप्लाई किया था, और आया कब? तो do you have such time left, spare time to pursue, seek information? This is how a frustrating experience you will find out. So that has been found. Plus 25,000 तो उनके लिए कुछ नहीं है. जहाँ 25,000 करोड़ का स्कैम किया है, 25,000 क्या है उसके लिए? Right. You should know that कि sarcastically बोला जाता है कि कुछ एजेंसीज ये बोलते हैं कि ये चेक है, जो लिखना है लिख लो. This means they are ready to pay fine, but they are not ready to give information. Yes, so that has also been found. And any agency which has been highest number of times penalized is called New Delhi NDMC, right? New Delhi Municipal Corporation. These are some that's NDMC has been penalized highest number of times. This is what we find. Still it was acceptable, not a problem. प्रॉब्लम शुरू होता है 2019 के बाद, जो कि मोर सीरियस है. बट चूंकि UPSC में आपको लिखना है पॉजिटिव, तो वी ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट सम पॉजिटिव थिंग. लेट्स ट्राई दिस फर्दर. स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी होगा. RTI is a legal right and CIC is statutory body. Yes. Anyhow, so let's say RTI Act, RTI Amendment Act 2019. RTI Amendment Act 2019. It brought changes. It brought changes in terms of service conditions, status and remuneration of information commissions. Let's write two columns. On the one side, you write as per RTI Act 2005, as per RTI Act 2005, that side, as per Amendment 2019. Amendment 2019. This, the Chief Information Commissioner would be equivalent to Chief Election Commissioner. And information commissioners would be equivalent to election commissioner. Within that next, in case of state information commissions, Chief Information Commissioner would be equivalent to election commissioner, and information commissioners would be equivalent to chief secretary. This side. This status has been done away with. However, what is the new status has not been defined. What is the new status has not been defined. Next point, this side, 2005. Tenure 5 years or 65 years of age. Tenure 5 years or 65 years of age. This side. Tenure 3 years or 65 years of age. Next, remuneration. As per the above status. Remuneration as per, it is on election, on 2005 side. Remuneration as per above status. This side. Remuneration as decided by the government. Remuneration as decided by the government. This. So what happens? गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया? पहले ही स्टेटस उनका था, चल रहा था 15 सालों से, क्या प्रॉब्लम था? राइट. सो गवर्नमेंट कह रही है, गवर्नमेंट का लॉजिक ये है कि वी कैन नॉट गिव स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी स्टेटस टू अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी. ये कौन, किसने बताया? नहीं देना है तो मत दो. राइट. बट लेट्स से कि एक बार उसका स्टेटस ऐसे है, राइट, इंफॉर्मेशन कमीशंस, वेरी हाई स्टेटस, नो, स्टेटस इक्वल टू इलेक्शन कमीशन. अभी क्या सिचुएशन है, सीधा पटक दिया, अभी उसका ये स्टेटस है। Isn't it? अभी स्टेटस डिफाइंड ही नहीं है। इट इज नॉट डिफाइंड कि व्हाट इज स्टेटस, किसके इक्विवेलेंट है, सीबीसी के इक्विवेलेंट है या एनएचआरसी के इक्विवेलेंट है या आरबीआई के इक्विवेलेंट है। अगर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी के इक्विवेलेंट नहीं बनाना है तो किसी न किसी बॉडी के इक्विवेलेंट होना चाहिए, बट इट इज नॉट क्लियर। देन दे डिराइव रेम्युनरेशन एज पर द स्टेटस, बट नाउ रेम्युनरेशन एज डिसाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट। ठीक है, चलो यहां तक एक्सेप्टेबल था। टेन्योर क्यों घटा है फ्रॉम 5 years to 3 years? कोई लॉजिक समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, वाई? वहां एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट का 5 year टेन्योर हो रहा है, 2 years plus 3 years। देखो, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी इलेक्शन कमीशन का टेन्योर मान लो तो, बट स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी का तो 5 years टेन्योर है, एनएचआरसी का भी है, कैट का भी है, बहुत सारे स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडीज दे हैव 5 years टेन्योर। बेसिकली लेट्स से कि दिस इज हाउ विल फाइंड दैट, तो इट हैज बीन मेड, लेट्स से यू नो दैट कि फाइनेंसेस टेन्योर आर कंसीडर्ड कंडीशंस फॉर इंश्योरिंग इंडिपेंडेंस टू एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन। सो क्या बोल सकते हैं, बट कुछ तो पॉजिटिव लिखना पड़ेगा, isn't it? This एक हमारा स्टूडेंट है, वो कहीं और पढ़ाता है, तो उसने मुझसे कभी मिला जब ये अमेंडमेंट हुआ था, मिला तो बहुत ही सरकास्टिक है वो भी, तो उसने बोला कि सर हम पॉजिटिव क्या पढ़ाए इसमें। पॉजिटिव है ही नहीं। उसने ये भी बोला कि जो बच्चे हैं ना वो बिल्कुल अलग है, ठीक है, अगर आप सिर्फ नेगेटिव पढ़ाओगे तो भी गलत है, isn't it? Basically they are भक्त। right. धीरे धीरे कम हुआ है, बट एक टाइम था कि ब्लाइंड फेथ था, लाइक दिस, इट वाज वेरी चैलेंजिंग, लाइक नाउ थिंग्स आर बेसिकली a bit maturity is coming gradually। anyhow, so let's write some positive aspects। the government has following rationales behind above amendment। First, it is trying to bring synchronization in service conditions of statutory body as per recommendations of law commission, Next, information commissions are a statutory body, hence they cannot be given equivalent status to a constitutional body or constitutional body. Next, non-elected institutions should not have too much of activism which affect working of elected institutions, However, even if the amendment can be justified, as the government has discretions to The government has discretions to decide the powers and functions of administrative machineries, but at the same time, the amendments should have brought more clarity about first the new status of information commissions, Next, defined remuneration. Next, at least tenure should have not been reduced. Paragraph. Right. Rather, it was expected that information commissions would be empowered. Right, as they have been facing problems like first vacancies, next lack of adequate infrastructure, next pendency of cases, which are more than 2.5 lakh. Change paragraph. That due to absence of leader of opposition, vacancies increased, and during COVID crisis, it has been found that information commissions did not function properly and even did not release annual reports. For instance, according to a report by the Hindu, Maharashtra has highest number of pending cases, over 74,000. Odisha has the pending cases, which would take 2028 at current rate of disposal of cases. In some states, information commissions are defunct. Therefore, in such scenario, effective implementation of RTI will suffer. Simply simply because they are the instrument of redressal of citizens' grievances. Redressal of citizens' grievances. If they fail to get information, from public agencies, ineffective information commission means a serious setback to public faith, public faith in RTI and and promotion of transparency and accountability. That is how we can say this. You should know that key facts, let's say, Central Information Commission has over 40,000 cases pending. चूंकि हमारे देश में केसेस पेंडिंग की आदत है, तो आपको ये सब बहुत ही कम लगेगा. जैसे मान लो कोर्ट्स में 5 करोड़ केस पेंडिंग है, तो क्वासी जुडिशियल बॉडी में थोड़ा है तो ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, isn't it? बस और उसी तरह से अगर एडीआर वाले में है तो और भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बिकॉज वी स्टार्ट सीइंग फ्रॉम दैट लेंस, बट वी डोंट ट्राई टू सी दैट कि एक इंफॉर्मेशन के लिए 2 साल क्यों इंतजार करेगा. Why a person is going, let's say, rather than he will not seek information. ये कोई केस तो है नहीं कि हमारे अगेंस्ट क्राइम हुआ है, हमारा जमीन का डिस्प्यूट है, I have to fight my case. It is an information, and if you are not giving information, he will leave it. Gradually, the faith of people will be affected. Billion plus, let's say that की population, you have 1.4 billion people, and still 22 lakh people are seeking information. Although at one point it can be, let's say, you can appreciate it, but at another place, let's say that it's not very huge. It's not very huge, let's say, like you have 22 lakh people seeking information. Because most of the information will be related to the public agencies seeking against each other. Right? Public employees, और किसी को remuneration नहीं मिला, उसने apply कर दिया RTI. किसी को promotion नहीं मिला, उसने RTI कर दिया apply. If you calculate in that way, so what we are trying to see, if they don't have adequate infrastructure, they are not appointed on time, you know, the leader of opposition issue, and then there were vacancies. In fact, for 4 months, CVC also remained vacant and CIC also remained vacant. They did not have chairperson. So, these are the conditions. Whether they have adequate infrastructure in their office, very difficult to say. And that is how we will find the conditions of this pendency cases. That the rate of disposal, if you see, this is a report, newspapers, they are trying to bring reports. So it will take time, and huge pendency of cases we have. It is reaching even to 1 lakh. Anyhow, so let's write next, the issue of public authority. The issue of public authority and scope of RTI. Next issue, the issue of public authority and scope of RTI. It's under section 2H, of RTI Act. Under section 2H of RTI Act, public authority has been defined. Public authority has been defined, which is related to first constitutional, next statutory, next executive bodies, then fully or substantially funded by state. Fully or substantially funded by state. Next, at the same time, section 8 bars Section 8 bars. Application of RTI. Application of RTI on some category of information. Some category of information and public agencies. Public agencies. The issue of public authority is related to first political parties, next civil society, non-profit institutions, including BCCI, next public-private partnership projects, change paragraph. As of now, they are not under RTI purview. As of now, they are not under RTI purview. But there are demands that they should come under purview of RTI. They should come under purview of RTI as they have impact on life of people. They have impact on life of people. Change paragraph. The issue of political party is related to one RTI activist applied for information to 5 national parties for disclosing information related to political funding. CPI disclosed information. CPI disclosed information, but other parties, including BJP and Indian National Congress, did not. By saying that they are not public authority. Then appeal went to Central Information Commission. Which defined political parties as public authority. Under following grounds. First, they have recognition through Representation of People Act and symbols rules. Next, they get benefits in terms of concession from government, office space, free advertisement through government channels, Next, they get exemption under Income Tax Act. They get exemption under Income Tax Act. Tax Act. Next, more importantly, political parties are basis for democracy. Political parties are basis for democracy. Hence, they should act accountably. They should act accountably. Change paragraph. However, the government, instead of acting as per CIC order, introduce RTI Amendment Bill. RTI Amendment Bill, and it mentioned in Section 2H. It mentioned in Section 2H that it does not apply to political parties. Does not apply to political parties. Political parties. The bill was introduced in Parliament. Meanwhile, Lok Sabha was dissolved. Lok Sabha was dissolved. Hence, the bill lapsed. Thereafter, the government has not introduced amendment bill. But CIC passed two more times orders. To give information considering political parties as public authority. It was criticized that the government played judge, jury, and advocate. The government played judge, jury, and advocate in its case. So, bygone era, this is how you should know that. So, there is no logic they are giving कि why they should not come under RTI. उन्होंने सीधा लिखा सेक्शन 2H में कि it does not apply to political party. This is बदमाशी, shamelessness, जो भी बोल सकते हो. जिसके हाथ में पावर है, पावर you know that what it does. तो मैं भी sarcastically बोलता हूँ ऐसे ही कि हम भी लिख सकते हैं ना कि लुकमान आइस does not come under RTI. आप जिसको पावर दे दो ना वो लिख देगा लॉ में, क्या करना है, उससे बेहतर लिख देगा, सिंपलेस्ट वे में. There should be any rationale. You as a party, you do not want to come under RTI. You as a government, you are an advocate of RTI. And political parties funding क्यों नहीं लोगों को पता होना चाहिए? They say that it will, let's say, blah blah. They think that if people will know about political funding, so it will affect their relation. ये हो जाएगा. लोगों को तो पता ही है कौन कितना पैसा फंड कर रहा है. This और हमारे देश में ऐसा है ना, बाहर के देशों में तो बिल्कुल ट्रांसपेरेंसी है. कौन कितना पैसा फंड करता है, it is very open. So how their democracy has not been affected? How our democracy is affected? This. Plus, they have told that no, they are already under various platform, through various platform, they are disclosing information. Right. As a political party, so let's say कि we get our funds audited. अरे कौन ऑडिट करता है? Right. वो भी एक इशू है. When will teach you elections, internal party democracy. तो उनका फंड कौन ऑडिट करता है? लोकल फंड ऑडिटर, इंडिपेंडेंट ऑडिटर. कौन होता है इंडिपेंडेंट ऑडिटर? कौन ऑडिट करेगा? This you know that independent audits कौन करते हैं? Right. So the question is, this is how we'll find, and they get income tax concession. Right. You are created under a Representation of People Act. This. So you are created. There is no direct creation of political party, but there is registration of political party. The political party gets registered and it gets symbols. There are, let's say, there are symbols, rules. Recently, National Party, AAP became National Party. It was in news. And once you become a national party, then you get lots of benefits. In terms of even advertisement at government platforms, जैसे free airways होता है, DD चैनल पे आपको मिलेगा एडवर्टीजमेंट, रेडियो पे मिलेगा, ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पे आपको मिलेगा. जो भी गवर्नमेंट का प्लेटफॉर्म है, देयर यू गेट फ्री, लेट्स से एडवर्टीजमेंट यू गेट, प्लस ऑफिस स्पेस आपको मिलता है सबसे कॉस्टली जगह पर. दिस आप रेंट पे लेके देखो, फिर पता चलेगा. तो दे गेट ऑफिस स्पेस एट वेरी प्राइम लोकेशन, प्लस इनकम टैक्स कंसेशन. But that's not the point. Can there be democracy without political parties? That is the more important aspect. And then this is how, basically CIC passed an order कि you are a political party. But since they can themselves amend the law, उन्होंने just amendment, instead of appealing, they did not appeal to High Court. That part I have not told it. Let me add that also. Basically, we have a system like Supreme Court, then Delhi High Court, High Court, respective High Court, Central Information Commission, State Information Commission, right, appellate head. Basically, application is filed here. It is for center, it is for states. This first appeal. First appeal, second appeal, third, and final. Yes. So parallel you have, for states you have a parallel system, for center you have a parallel system. It is not that State Information Commission comes under jurisdiction of this Central Information Commission, no. The State Information Commission is related to state government, all the information related to state government, that is the hierarchy. Any person first applies information before the public information officer. If information is not given, then he first appeal. He appeals at appellate authority. Appellate authority is belong to in the government, that public agency itself. Basically, he is a director level functionary. In any department, government department, a director level functionary is appointed as appellate authority, where the citizen can file appeal. And if not satisfied by that appellate authority which is within the department, then it can go to Central Information Commission or State Information Commission. It means that when Central Information Commission passed this order, the government should have gone to Delhi, but उनको पता था कि हाई कोर्ट में जाएंगे तो वो भी ऐसे ही रूल करेंगे. तो उन्होंने देखो कैसे क्या सोचा, बिल इज इंट्रोड्यूस, बिल लैप्स, अब बिल लाओ ही नहीं. नाउ डोंट ब्रिंग बिल। और सीआईसी चल के तो जाएगा नहीं, बोलेगा गवर्नमेंट से ये चलो बिल इंट्रोड्यूस करो, वो एक बार बोलेगा, दो बार बोलेगा, उसके बाद तो दो बार उन्होंने बोला फिर, इसलिए कि petitioner again went, it is ADR in this case. ADR after frustrating, again ADR went, CIC passed order, no anything. Again ADR went to CIC, again it passed order. Third time he told that कि now we would not pass order. This. And then matter remains like this. So when political parties are not, they do not want to come under RTI. So do you think the others will come under RTI? The legitimacy or the basis to bring others under RTI purview is affected by political parties' behavior. Right? Because others will also try to, give this and that excuse. Already since we have taught somewhere in case of CAG, CAG audit if you talk, same thing is related to RTI. BCCI, you know that RM Lodha panel recommended that BCCI should come under RTI. So already there is a recommendation for BCCI. Then I have told in past that there is National Sports Development Bill 2014. And that National Sports Development Bill, if you read, in that also all sports authorities would come under RTI. This, जो हमारे जितने sports authority है ऐसे generally that they are all highly pathetic and corrupt institutions. This, where we have not given due focus to improve them. This, so they should also come under RTI. Now civil society organizations, you know that when they are substantially funded by the government, so why they should not come under RTI? Already civil society organizations are brought under Lokpal, you know that. When we'll teach civil society, we'll talk these things. Any civil society receiving 10 lakh plus foreign fund is under Lokpal. This. Anyhow, so this is called expansion, let's say, because they have started playing role. The way we told in case of CAG that you have to improve because democratic accountability. They cannot be left. Otherwise, the scope of transparency will become very limited. You cannot pick and choose. This area there should be transparency, this area there should not be transparency. There should be minimum level of transparency across the sectors. This, be it public sector, private sector, third sector, media, civil society, whatever the organizations we have, we should have minimum level of transparency across them. We are not talking maximum. Right. There should be minimal. Minimal is that at least you give details about your decisions. Suppose आपने एक साल में किसी कोई स्पोर्टिंग अथॉरिटी है तो आपने कितने खिलाड़ियों को सेलेक्ट किया, रिजेक्ट किया, क्यों रिजेक्ट किया, that you should give at least that minimum level of information. But that minimum level of information is also not there. This, we are not trying to say that you give 100% information. But you cannot have 100% no information. Yes. Either this is how it is. And when you have Companies Act, and Companies Act now, companies business sector is subject to transparency. So when company is subject to transparency, why you are not subject to transparency? You are a more accountable institution. Okay. Business sector has, let's say, privacy, it is a more individual, let's say we say that. And still it is subject to under Companies Act financial disclosure. That is how new Companies Act 2013 is basis for corporate governance. And they have to have financial disclosures. It will bring greater transparency and accountability. If a company is subject to have greater transparency and accountability, why not media? Why not civil society? Because they work for the public cause. But for this sector, we have undue silence. Why we have undue silence? Because you know that, I generally speak in my language, they are the parking space for black money. This, you know that political parties, we have 500 political parties. And political parties are like shell company. Political parties are created only to convert this money into that money, transfer this money from that money. उसका कोई काम है, उस politics में आना ही नहीं है उसको. Right? It is like a shell company. This, and this is how S.Y. Qureshi writes in his book. 40 types of different way of they have found way how to, let's say that you can say that avoid this regulation, political funding. 40 types. जब वो इंटरव्यू दे रहे थे तो उन्होंने बोला कि जब तक मैंने ये बुक लिखा है, नहीं, एक दो और नया तरीका आ गया होगा. This and TN Session said that कि black money in election is the main cause of corruption. Yes. तो जो मेन कॉज है वहां हम कोई एड्रेस नहीं कर रहे. This, that is how the challenge, let's say. The civil society, they create civil society organization. You know that political parties, they have their civil society organization. सबसे ज्यादा civil society organization किसका है? Political parties or business groups. They have the civil society. And same political parties that you create. And media, you know already. Who owns media? And since they remain low demand, low public consciousness, that is how we have not been brought. The end result is that, nutshell is that we need to have RTI and minimum standards of transparency and accountability. This, that is what you have to summarize. So let's try this. In present context, when there is governance approach, in present context, when there is governance approach, in which all the three stakeholders participate in decision making and they are considered equal stakeholders, then why there should also not be equal sharing of responsibility. Change paragraph. When there is New Companies Act 2013, which talks about transparency and accountability in business sector, and has become a tool for corporate good governance, then why not political parties, civil society organizations, media, PPP projects should come under purview of RTI. In fact, political parties, civil society organizations, and media are known for non-profit institutions working hard for public cause. Non-profit institutions working for public cause, then they should have greater commitment for transparency and accountability. Change paragraph. In present era, there cannot be a situation in which some categories of institutions categories of institutions are not at all under purview of RTI. Rather, for for democratic governance, it has become imperative that across sectors there should be minimal standards of accountability and transparency. Minimal standards of transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability. Otherwise, the objectives of good governance cannot be achieved. The objectives of good governance cannot be achieved. In a way, we can say that transparency and accountability have become public good. And that is what we can say is. So then so I just want to deal in shortest possible way. Because already they have asked, we don't speak. Just you should know that how it is affecting efficiency. So there is a view. When government has the view, Manmohan Singh, present Prime Minister, government, they have expressed their concerns related to RTI, because when there is RTI, so basically government departments need additional infrastructure. There is increase in case, litigation, intervention by information commissions. So these things, this is how, let's say, it will reduce efficiency, because you are not getting additional infrastructure. You are not getting additional funding. At the same time, let's say risk aversion. The civil servants, etc., they become risk aversion because you know that your decisions would be disclosed under RTI. When decisions will be disclosed under RTI, so what decision you have taken, it is now more subject to public scrutiny. Hence, let's say, as we told in case of SC Gupta, bona fide error, mala fide error, already there is a negative environment. Civil servants do not want to face criticisms. So that way somehow there is a perception. इनफैक्ट कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो हम बोल सकते हैं, आपको लिख नहीं सकते आप. गवर्नमेंट ने जो अमेंड किया है वो कहीं ना कहीं इसी का एक वो है. बेसिकली दे वांट टू रिड्यूस द स्कोप ऑफ आरटीआई, बट यू कैन नॉट राइट लाइक दिस. हुआ क्या है, एक टाइम इंडिया टुडे का एक आर्टिकल था, बहुत पुराना आर्टिकल है, मीन्स 6-7 ईयर्स बैक का आर्टिकल है. हुआ क्या कि गवर्नमेंट ने इधर लास्ट 10-15 ईयर्स में बहुत सारा पावर्स दे दिया सिटीजन को. Citizen Charter, RTI, e-governance, social audit. So there are too many things in the hand of citizens. Now citizens, without behaving responsibly, using such tools, this, and let's say vested interest in troubling the government. So somehow government is affected by this thing, and hence government wants to reduce it. This, that was India Today article which was talking about this. And that is why we are trying to reduce our narrow the scope. But you cannot write all these things. Rather, we can write something else. What? Gradually, things will change. You know, gradually you will develop the habit of having more and more public scrutiny, right? More transparency, etc. That way we can say. And government should try to promote, give additional support. At the same time, let's say that it should promote risk-taking culture rather than risk-aversive culture. That is how we have to write. So let's summarize on this. However, even if there is view that it has affected efficiency. There cannot be reversal of RTI. Rather, promotion of transparency culture. That government can encourage risk-taking behavior and protect civil servants who have bona fide errors in decisions. That's why government has amended Prevention of Corruption Act. Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 in bracket 2018. At the same time, government should provide adequate infrastructure support. To reduce physical financial burden on public agencies. So that is what we can say. Somewhere we can tell you a bit more about Prevention of Corruption Act. Basically, Prevention of Corruption Act was brought in 1988, and it was meant to punish those who were corrupt. Because it mentioned that the proof of, let's say that it will be the civil servant who will be liable to prove his innocence. Right? If any civil servant decision has brought pecuniary loss, tangible and intangible, to the government, the liability to prove innocence would lie with civil servant. That is the law. So it was, let's say, presumed that those who are corrupt, they will get deterred. But you know that ours is a country where those who are corrupt, they are protected. And those who are honest, they are harassed. So then there is a subjectivity. If your decision has brought any pecuniary loss, tangible or intangible, the liability to prove your innocence lies with you. So suppose you did a bona fide error and you are an honest officer. This is how I say generally that politicians, others, they wait for your errors. When you will do this? And that time they will, let's say that. So then the law end up punishing honest officers. Hence they reduce their risk-taking behavior. That is how now government has amended it. Now it is not the liability of a civil servant to prove his innocence. It will be the liability of the investigating agency to prove his commission of offense. That has been. So that is how you will find this changes.